What's going on, gamers? So we have an interesting post here by Mike Ibarra coming back saying that he wants to buy a PS5 Pro. After videocards.com had posted Sony cuts the PS5 and the PS5 Pro prices by $100 for Black Friday. And I think this is a good idea considering too that Xbox is pretty much dead. Everybody knows that. I mean, you could play Game Pass if you want, but it's kind of mid now. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is trash. Steam Machine is not that attractive, but that's not going to be out for a while. And on PC, what are you waiting for? What exclusives do they have for you? Nothing. Sony has Ghost of Yotei. They're going to have a lot of games coming into the winter and leading into spring next year, along with Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, Mike Ibarra obviously has a lot of money, but excuse me. But he sees a good deal and he's going to go for it. And the interesting thing is the comment that he gets right here. Don't you have a 5090? Considering that this guy is missing the point of why you would want a PS5 Pro, why FSR 4 is also around the corner, and it's going to be nice. And sometimes you don't have to wait for what? What do you need to wait for when diminishing returns and rasterization is higher than ever? So that's my thing too. Why I say the PlayStation 5 will always be relevant, considering that Sony's always going to continue to money hat. You can complain all you want, but they're going to, and they're going to have first-party games. And you never know about them pulling their games from Steam and putting it in their own app, and you can just have that cross by going. If they decide to do that, you never know, though. But getting down to this, he asked him, why don't you have a 5090? And Ibarra says, it doesn't play new PlayStation exclusives, and I don't like waiting. Same with a lot of other people. Imagine that. Exclusives drive people to buy a console. He threw shots again at Microsoft. I don't blame them, though. They have no identity. When you have no identity, what's the point? Like I told you before, if I was getting ready to go to Japan and I went there and I realized how amazing that exclusive experience was because it was not available anywhere else in the world, the reason why I'm able to do that is because of that identity that's there. And when I try to go anywhere else around the world, I would never find that there. So I would keep going back because I can only get that experience there. It's the same thing. You need your first-party identity. You need your identity to say, I want your platform because you have something that nobody else has. I'm going to your VIP club because, man, that's smacking more than anybody across, you know, the state. Every time you go in there, we have a really good time, high quality, have everything going on in there. The best looking female, you know what I mean? Just saying, you know, best looking woman out there. Everybody goes there. This is the spot. Everybody knows that that's something that somebody would like. You know what I mean? This is the console. This is the place to be and the hottest thing right now. When you don't have that and it's available everywhere because you want to cuck out everywhere to everyone, you know what I mean? Cortana and Master Chief, I'm sorry, man. You know, that's what's going to be happening. I mean, what's the point? You know what I mean? And here's my thing. Like, back then, I could understand when you say, man, it's way better on PC. You can wait. But when you got Ghost of Yotei playing 4K 60 with ray tracing on the PS5 Pro, that's what on FSR 4, you know what I mean? It's just a good example. It won console game of the year. Do I believe Donkey Kong deserved it? But they're both good games. And congratulations to everything there. Hopefully my algorithm gets back right because YouTube's being weird again. They're just corrupt. I don't care what they try to tell me. They're just playing games. But anyways, people are always hating on the like, though. Ain't nothing new. Here's my thing. When all these games come out, I don't want to wait 6 months, even though I think it could take longer than that. I don't want to wait a year. For what? When I can get my experience and I'm getting my 4K 60, or I'm at least getting my upscale to 60 frames with performance, which, like Mark Cerny said, 75% or more of the people are choosing performance mode. They want that experience more than anything. You see what I mean? So what do I need to wait for if I'm ready to get in my 60 frames and everything already looks good today? It looks good more than ever, you know what I mean? What's the point of all this extra stuff? Like, what are you going to do? Give me a Digital Foundry video where I can stare very hard at something and say, okay, I can notice the difference, or I have to spend a fortune to do that when I can get that experience day one and you sitting over there like a sitting duck? Yeah, nah, man, that stuff is stupid to me. It's just, yeah, I'm not going to take those people serious, and I don't take those people serious. I'm telling you right now. So here's my thing. It's the same thing with Nintendo, and it's the same thing with PlayStation. Like, they give you these 60 frames per second. It's definitely Nintendo, and because they have this type of interesting cartoon graphics that you're going to get your experience. There's not a single Nintendo first-party game that does not have 60 frames per second. You know what I mean? Mario Kart World, full 60 frames per second. Kirby Air Ride, 60 frames per second. You see what I mean? Hyrule Warrior, 60 frames per second. Donkey Kong, 60 frames per second. Metroid Prime, 60 frames per second. You get what I mean? All of these are going to be 60 frames per second. Ghost of Yotei, ray tracing, 60 frames per second. Their performance modes can give you 60 frames per second. Horizon, you see what I mean? Why am I waiting on PC for? Why do I need to spend all those specs and sit there and wait around for? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get my experience. The hardware is nothing compared to the video games you're going to be spending on top of the subscriptions and all this other stuff. You can talk about all this online, but dude, I don't need online to play all these single player games. I don't. That's only if I'm playing an online game. And you can wait on a sale to get that. But you're still going to spend way more on a damn 5090. I mean, come on, man. Imagine how many years it takes to get to a 5090 with online, just by itself. You know what I mean? I think all that double standard stuff where you say anti-consumer, man, don't get me started with this dude, Gabe Newell, going to buy a 500 million yacht, polluting the ocean, and then thinking Steam is all this. Man, you just sitting around taking other people's games and then saying you want to pirate it. Get out of here. I don't know. No. You don't give any games to anyone. You got to wait 20 years to get a game from them. But Nintendo's consistently giving games. PlayStation is dropping games every single year. And of course, money hiding, though I'm not saying that that's anything impressive. I will not. You know what I mean? But hey, but still, they all monopolize and do the same thing. So guess what? Because you get out monopolized and out money had it and you have more money than them, you just suck. And so I'm saying thing about Xbox. You suck. You have all the money in the world, all the technology, all the AI. You suck. You know what I mean? Your choices. This is all about choices. It's not about money. What are all your choices add up to? You're out the industry. You got your ass whooped. You see what I mean? Yeah, and then give her to everybody. Yeah, give her to everybody. Yeah, that's what you're going to do. I need to be available everywhere. You know what I mean? I don't have no identity anymore. So yeah, let's just play this game. Where you can make choices and put games everywhere. No, you have to do that. You have your parents try to push it. You lost. You're not going to see anybody say that has the #1 vacation spot in the world. Yeah, let me just make it like this everywhere. No, it's going to be here, exclusive. Get that trip and come over here and find out. You know what I mean? Yeah, get that device and come over here and find out. It's always worked that way. Only when somebody loses do they start playing this stupid game and then they try to guilt trip you, gaslight you, pair it against you, and then think that you're doing something wrong and you're the bad guy. Man, get out of here because these people messed up. Don't sit here attacking content creators. I get tired of that nonsense after a while. It's like, how long are we going to keep this circus nonsense going? I like Alex's page, you know what I mean? He's changing things up. He's moving around. He knew he needed to adjust. Obviously, I've had some up and downs. People hate on me. I ain't worried about that, though. I'm going to keep pushing through. There's other things in life. Life is good. You know what I mean? I still like YouTube because I don't think anything is better than it. I hate Twitch. Kick is cool, but we'll see. And, I mean, just personally, guys, one thing I like about Mikey Barr that he's doing, I'm on Michael too, is that he's just telling it straight up. Exclusives drive people to buy a console. You know what I mean? What is the point of me getting your console? Even though I said what I said, I know most people are playing third-party games on PlayStation, but that does not mean you don't want those games. You're not buying it specifically only play those games, but you're buying it to also get an experience that you would get on PC now because it's literally now getting closer than ever. Everybody knows this after the Pro, definitely with FSR 4, but you're getting a lot of those money hats and you're getting a lot of those first-party games. So you could say they're buying it for a lot of other games, but a lot of those money hats yearly on top of those exclusives, they matter every single year and they stack up. So what's the point of waiting anymore? There is no point. PC doesn't have the advantage it used to have anymore. Even though I see a lot of people moving to it and there's nothing wrong with it at all, but I do not believe that it is still taking over like PlayStation's position or Nintendo. No, never. It's just Xbox went out and they still have their identities. Sony has a hybrid identity and Nintendo has the strongest identity. Everybody knows this. So this guy's like, damn, you turned to the pony. Just kidding. Kind of. I mean, I kind of feel like this is what I mean. Just because somebody wants to go buy another platform, and I don't have to specifically say this to him, but I just can't stand his mentality, that does not mean that they're a pony. Like somebody tried to tell me, I was like, dude, I had a PlayStation since 1995 or 6 when they came in the industry. I had a PS1, there was no Xbox. You know what I mean? You didn't exist. You know what I mean? I had a PS3, PS4. I've had all PlayStations except PS2 around a certain time because I hated what happened to Dreamcast and I just didn't like certain things. So PS2 was awesome. But I've owned all the Sega consoles damn near. And it's just weird that somebody sticks a childish label on somebody because you want to go get an exclusive experience and you don't want to wait around. That person to me is immature and incapable of accepting somebody's free will of choice. Like you should be negative towards another human being or another being because they want to go purchase another device and have a good time with a video game. Like I said, grow up out of your toddler pants. And you want to sit there and grift and be stuck on a dead platform and miss out on all those experiences and then hope there and grift and try to gaslight people and hope that they can just get it on PC and you can sit there and just brag against that? No, man, that's a loser mentality. Either you are going to get it or you're not going to. And either you're going to miss out on the experience or you're not going to. I see people go and get the ROG Ally and talk about the Steam Deck, but they don't have the Switch 2. And it's like, how do you think they were born? I'm just saying, it's pretty obvious. Like, it's like, These people are so slow to me that you are missing out on all those experiences, but you are ignoring the anti-consumer behavior on Steam massively. You're ignoring the anti-consumer behavior, like Hall of Fame anti-consumer behavior against Microsoft, but you have their devices. It's quite obvious to me, and these people are just like, they act like it's like, dude, I'm seeing right through you, and I see how fraud these people are, man. It's like, no. You don't have the Switch 2 because you have an inferiority complexity issue that you don't want to admit. So you have psychologically brainwashed yourself and convinced yourself that Nintendo is so negative that you're missing out on amazing development experiences that those developers did not make the choice doing. And they're the only ones that don't fire their developers and dump them off. You're actually supporting the developers there. And this is the thing that I say about these people. I'm like, yeah, to me, you just have a disorder. And you might not know it, but it's very true. I can say what I want about PlayStation, but guess what? I still had the PlayStation the whole time. Because as I said before, you can criticize somebody professionally and still support them. Just like a coach can get on a player's behind because he's messing up. And it could be negative to him, to what you think that may be negative. But if you see that player improve, you're like, oh man, he's actually getting better. But I thought that was rough. Yeah, you thought. You know what I mean? Like AGN was being critical towards PlayStation, but you don't see me slamming PlayStation like that anymore because it doesn't make sense. It makes sense to slam Microsoft and Xbox. Though I'm kind of doing other things too. And it's like, oh, you don't want me to do that now when they have the worst of all time? Then yeah, you are a zombie to me in the Xbox world. You're an Xbox zombie. You know what I mean? It's quite clear. And you can be an Xbox fanboy and say the same thing and be like, nah, man, he's right. This is messed up. I'll talk with some people like a friend of mine, Jeff, and a couple other people. Though I know he doesn't make like content like that, but at least he's just, man, you know, I've loved Xbox my whole life. He's an Xbox only guy. And he agrees with everything I'm saying because he is not a toxic, delusional grifter. And he's not trying to hold a position for promotions and all that other stuff. I'm just saying. And he's not sitting there in a Xbox cultish, fanatic, religious aspect. In that sense, it's become a cult to paint Nintendo negative, and then on one angle, paint PlayStation negative, and never say anything about Xbox, except when you have to play that game and say, we got to expose some of this. Because then I'm just going to look like I'm just doing Nintendo and PlayStation. So let's play the little game of let's bring that out too and include that in some of my stuff so I can make it seem like, but deep back behind that, you ain't fooling me. Yeah, but let's play that game a little bit. You see what I mean? And people come to you, ain't saying nothing about Nintendo. I never do to begin with. I only brought it up because all this other stuff was happening. But mostly my page was about PlayStation and Xbox. It really was. And then I started to bring them up when they came around to Switch 2 because that's the thing to do. Now I want to go out of my way to be negative towards them because I feel like they're doing way better than everybody else. They have these small little perks. I'm like, dude, this is like a $100 million indie company that is the best developers in the industry and does so much for gaming that it is incomparable to everyone. So it gave so much. Now people can criticize, yeah, go ahead, but I still think that they're light compared to what PlayStation had going, though they're getting better now. And what Xbox has done significantly. Steam is far worse too because it's like everybody ignores that monopoly. And they give nothing. It's like, let's compare to see who gives the most compared to others. Sony gives too, but they're kind of like, and like I said, they're like that hybrid aspect where you can't really solidify them in one field. And yeah, they do take things from Microsoft. I'm like, yeah, but Microsoft does things that are not good. And Sony takes some of those things too, and it's kind of like poison them in a way. Where like in the PS3 era, online was free. You can link accounts with a lot of things. They were very pro-consumer. Like, it was nice. And then they started to pick up Microsoft's traits, and look what happened. Then they lost their identity a bit. We saw that, right? And then Jim Ryan was cutting off communication, and now you want to try to get back to that Japanese standpoint because a Japanese guy realized that. And let me cut the prices, but it's like, dude, you know what I mean? It's kind of a bit late on that to an extent, but yeah, you know, go ahead. And there's nothing wrong with forcing somebody. So I said, it's good what Nintendo's doing when they come around the corner. You are forcing them to drop the price. Imagine if AMD was forcing NVIDIA along with Intel to drop their prices. That's not bad. That's good. I'm all against dropping prices. If Nintendo went down to $399 because they were losing, is that bad? No, that's good. If Microsoft went down, is that bad? No, that's good. I'm all for the consumer. And I've been against the corporation this whole time. But I find it funny when I started going against Xbox, all these people started leaving and all this other stuff started happening. It's like, man, whatever. I'm going to keep going because I'll be damned if I join back with that garbage again, knowing how corrupt that company is and how greedy they are. And you can't sit here and tell me with a straight face with all that goddamn money, $4 trillion market cap, that they don't have the audacity to give you deals like you don't deserve it. Nah, man, you're not convincing me. So this right here is 100% fine. Now more than ever, you can go get a PlayStation and not feel guilty. What's wrong with going to be a gamer like you were back then? You letting these people guilt trip you? Because this is what they're doing. I'm telling you guys, they're guilt tripping you to make you feel guilty, like you shouldn't go and enjoy games you've always wanted to enjoy your whole life. That's why you got these people over in the Xbox world saying, man, I'm getting these PlayStation games. Yeah, you've been wanting to play that. You just are playing that stupid game where you're brainwashing yourself and thinking that you shouldn't go get the console. Because one day you're hoping that it's going to get on Xbox and that Sony, I hope they don't pull their games from PC because then we're not going to have the magnets to play PlayStation games. Yet that may be a reality. They may not let that happen. How are you going to get the games? What if they do that? You see what I mean? I'm just a part of, man, get out of here, man. I'm going to go get this device. You know what I mean? Trade in some stuff. No problem. Get it for like $300, whatever. That's nothing. You know what I mean? So I can get the gaming experience. Either to me, you're about getting good video games or you want to grift against a hardware and company and miss out on experiences. And to me, you are an idiot because I'm not missing out on no good gaming experiences. I don't care what nobody tells me. This is my free will of choice. You see what I mean? Everything else is like, you just sitting here talking for your channel. Hey. Fine, go ahead. That's your free will of choice. But you're not going to convince me not to go get no PlayStation. You're not going to convince me not to get no PS6. You're not going to convince me not to get the Switch 2 OLED. You know what I mean? And you're not going to convince me to not get or to pass up on the Steam machine because I'm telling you right now, that right there is like, what's the point of that? What you gonna have? I can get Half-Life 3 right here on my laptop on Steam. But those other ones is like, dude, what do you want me to do? To sit around and imagine that's going to come? You don't know that. Not everything is going to happen. There are some games that will never come over because that's just how it is. Even with some Xbox games, you're not going to get Forza 4. You know what I mean? You're not going to get some of those games. So this is just something to think about from a gamer standpoint. Are you for playing video games or are you about just, sucking off one platform and trying to make other ones look negative and being a loser and not being honest with yourself? I will never be that person. I will never be that being. Like, come subscribe. Let me know what you think. AGN keeps it real. And some of these people are just losers. Yeah, just hating. Anyways, later.